Welcome, everyone, to tonight's edition of our group financial coaching session. I'm so glad that you're here and grateful that you're taking the time out of your busy week, busy evenings to be able to come and visit with me. I hope it's worth your time and just welcome you to participate in the session in any way, shape, or form. You can come off of mute or you can chat. I will watch the chat and the come off of mute and we'll raise hand or whatever. Just I want it to be very participatory and this is not meant to be a lecture. It's meant to be a discussion and a group coaching program where many of you are working with individual coaches, and that's great. You can get one-on-one questions from that individual coach. This is your opportunity to learn from each other, and hopefully, this community might share something or say something that just sparks hits home with you, and it may be something that I say are different than your coach, or just hearing. Well, some of the feedback that I've gotten from the program is people say, it's nice to know that I'm not alone, that there's other families trying to go this journey as well, and I can learn from them and feel inspired to keep working on my own path. So I'm glad you're here. Thank you for being here, and look forward to our conversation tonight. Just to give you some background, if this is your first time coming or the first time meeting me, as you know your other coaches, this is just my little bit of my background. Again, I'm Brian Halverson, been in the financial industry for the last more than 2 decades, 23 years, helping individuals and families with their finances and trying to build some financial peace in their life. If you're familiar with Dave Ramsey's programs, FPU is Financial Peace University. Taught that over 16 times over 8 years. It's a great program that gives you some good introduction, general information. And then clients, their students kept asking, like, what about me? And I need help with my situation. So that prompted me to be a coach and become or do the one-on-one coaching as I get to do now. And have grown from those humble beginnings to now one of the top Ramsey preferred coaches, and I have a team of 9 other coaches that work with me to be able to help a lot of families and individuals. I got so busy, I needed helpers and calling like, hey, come and help because there's so many people that need this help. And so it's just a privilege to be able to serve and help you and myself individually or my coaches. There's a lot of resources for you available either on our website or on our YouTube channel. I put the links in the chat so you can connect through the YouTube channel. I invite you to subscribe to that, turn on the notifications, and when we put in new content, when this recording is posted to our YouTube channel, you'll get notification of that, and you can stay up with us. And you'll be watching. We'll have some new content and some new voices and new faces on there. That my other coaches will start adding content to that soon. So you might see your coach or another face, and just again, we want to have lots of voices helping you and encouraging you along your journey. Yeah, these again faces might be some more familiar than others. These are my 9 other coaches that work with me and have the privilege of helping you and friends and family and neighbors and anybody that you know that needs some help. We would love to help more and more people. So you can again share that website and help people to learn how to be money strong. Just like our website and our name is, we want to help you to be money strong. So let's talk about, well, what is the path to my money strength? How do I get there? Well, as if you're familiar with this group coaching, I always level set us and remind us of the baby steps. So these are the 7 baby steps, and maybe a review for you. Maybe something will spark, and you might hear something new for the different time as you hear it for the umpteenth time. But again, baby step 1, if you're working on this goal, is to get $1,000 in at a starter beginning mini emergency fund. It doesn't go very far. We understand that. It's not meant to go very far. It's only $1,000. It's just meant to take the edge off. So if you have a small emergency, you grab the savings account instead of grabbing a credit card. So get your $1,000 as soon as possible. Have a garage sale, donate plasma, anything legal, moral, and ethical. Get that $1,000 as soon as possible. Step 2, once you're done with the 1,000, now you crank down on your debts. And every dollar that you can possibly come up with, we're going to put towards that baby or step 2 of paying off your debt. All debt except the house, that's later, but all consumer debt. That includes your student loan, that includes your rental property, that includes the car, that includes the personal loans, that includes family loans. Anybody that you owe money to, that's in baby step 2. Throw it on the bonfire and let's get that thing off your back. Then we get back to baby step 3 of saving, back to savings. We're going to save 3 to 6 months worth of expenses. Why the range is it depends on how fast, if you were to lose your job, how fast could you find another one? 3 months, 6 months, maybe it's a little longer, maybe it's a little shorter. That depends on your industry and your job skill set. how fast can we find another job? Well, what if it's not a job an income interruption? Well, then it's the larger emergencies, right? 3 to 6 months of expenses that can cover. I had a water heater go out. I had a fridge go out. I had a whatever, and we'll see some of those things that we're going to talk about a little bit of that today. After we're done saving and we get our 3 to 6 months and we know our destination, we arrive and then we time to move on. Then we get to invest 15% of our income into our retirement as baby step four. 15% of the gross income, 15% of the household income. I get questions often. They're like, well, if me and my wife both work, do we both do like 15 of her and 15 of mine? Yes, 15% of your family household income we want to be putting towards retirement. If you're a single family income, then you put 15% of that single family income in it. If you got two, if you got three jobs, 15% of everything that you come in your hands goes to your future retirement, right? Your like something like he and she, well, you're both going to retire, so you both need money to pay for your retirement once you get there. So 15% helps you to get there. Baby step five then is to save for kids' college, if that's applicable to you. Baby step six is to pay off a house if you own the home, if that's applicable to you. If not, if you want to buy a house, we go back and we insert that in baby step 3B, and that we start building down payment so that you can buy your first home. And then in baby step six, we get cranking down on it and we pay it off as soon as possible. And then ultimately get to baby step seven, to build wealth and to give. And that's why we're on this path, is for that ultimate destination. Why are we on this long road trip? Because Disneyland is at the end of it. We just got to hang in there and keep driving. I know it's tiring, but we're going to get there building wealth and giving like nobody else. How do we give and live and give like nobody else? Well, we live like nobody else on baby steps 1 through 6. So let me pause there. And again, participation, you're welcome to put it in the chat or come off of mute. Any thoughts, comments, questions about the baby steps? You got my undivided attention. So how can I help? Any questions or challenges that you have faced in your personal situation when it comes to the baby steps?
Question.
Yeah,
Hey,
Theo.
Brian.
Hello.
How are you? Good evening. First of all, thank you for putting all this together. We really appreciate this.
My pleasure. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. For baby step seven,
Okay.
build wealth and give. Can you go a little in depth into that?
That's a whole discussion. Yeah.
Thank
That's what
you.
we're going to be a little talking about tonight is what do you do after baby step seven? So do you have a specific question? Like, what do you do in baby step seven? Like build wealth and give, like that sounds great, but like
In
how,
terms of
how,
like,
or
yes, sir. In terms of like more tangible items, in terms of building wealth. So, does that encompass just like the basic things that we know? So, investing, looking to diversify your portfolio, looking into stocks, bonds, looking into different methods like that, or is it just more a one road? There's many ways to skin a cat. What would you recommend? You're the
excellent, great.
professional.
Okay. Thank you for that clarification. Good. Okay, so I let's go back to baby step four. So when I went and I was investing 15% of my income into my retirement, right?
Mhm.
Maximize your 401ks, your IRAs, if you have TSPs. Everybody has different plans based on, I have SEP IRAs and I have this. It depends on your
Mhm.
specific situation. If you're self-employed or if I'm a government employee or I have a 401k at work. So whatever you have available to you as an employee, or as if you're a self-employed, if you have a self-employment IRA, things like that, maximize that. There's your, like you said, Theo, like stocks, bonds, mutual fund. What do I do? A lot of that is in baby step four. So we
Okay.
want to go in your 401ks and your IRAs. If you have a Roth, that's better
Mhm.
than a traditional. So if you have
Mhm.
a Roth 401k, that beats traditional 401ks. Roth IRAs beat traditional IRAs. So there's tax advantages in why we go Roth instead of traditional. So excellent question. Sorry for the long answer, but Roth is better than traditional. If you have the option, go Roth. If you don't have the option, something's better than nothing. Do a traditional. Maximize that, right? But not until baby step four. This is kind of like a wait a minute, patience. If you're in baby step two, I want you to remember that that's coming, and I want it to draw you forward. That's what tonight's is. I'm hoping with our discussion tonight, it inspires you to get through baby steps 1 through 4 as fast as possible because they're kind of checklists. Do you or do you not have $1,000? Check. Am I or am I not debt free? Check. Do I or do I not have 3 to 6 months? Check. Am I doing 15%? Check. Okay, so we want to get there as soon as possible. But if you are still in debt, here's one of the hardest recommendations we have. Don't invest. Even though they give me the 3% for free match at work, it's free money, Brian. I can't give it up. I face that every time when we talk about this conversation. Is okay, pause your investing and just crank down on the getting out of debt and building your savings. Now, people, I know it's tough because you're losing time, and we need time. That's the one thing we can't get back. Is I need my investments to grow and to multiply, and so I need that. I got to get to baby step 4 as fast as possible. The closer you are to retirement, the more and more urgency you feel with that if you're not ready. And then you're like, oh crap, I got to make up for lost time. Okay, I know. Hold on. Deep breaths. We're going to get through this. Get out of debt, build your savings, and then we make up for lost time. Because we take that debt snowball and the savings and all that capacity that you freed up by really mastering your budget, which is baby step 0, and then I chunk it down on my investment. So the people that are like, well, I can't go less than 3. Well, when you get back to investing on baby step 4, you don't go back to investing on baby step 3, or don't go back to 3%. You go to 15%. Well, where the heck does all that money come from? My debt snowball, my savings snowball, and I just chunk it and I start chucking it in there. And so again, long answer, sorry, Theo, is stocks, the mutual funds, right? In investments in the investments. Right now, baby step 7. Now it took me a long time to get there. Baby step 7, building wealth. Like you said, there is some diversification that I can start doing. Now, a lot of people ask, well, what about rental properties? I want to get into real estate. Dave Ramsey does a ton of real estate. What baby step is rental properties? That can be part of the diversification that you mentioned, Theo, of building wealth. So what's one way of building wealth in the real estate? And I can have a rental property. Maybe I want to do some Airbnbs or some long-term rentals. When should I do it? And this is one of the hardest things that is going to test your patience and your discipline is to wait until it's the right time. Because, well, I want to do it now. Wait a minute. We still have a mortgage. If you do it before baby step 6, you have a mortgage and you have this rental property. Talk about a heck of a millstone weight around your neck. And what if people are habitually bad at calculating risk and looking at the worst case scenario? We always think the sun's always going to shine and I'm going to make $1 million on this Airbnb because I saw a TikTok on it. Mm-hmm. And so we go out and get rental properties and we forget to calculate the risk that what happens if things go bad? Dave Ramsey himself talks about, you know what? Renters get cancer. Renters lose their job. Renters go through the Doge restrictions and lose their job. So you're just dying for their rental payment. That's a heck of a place to put yourself in. You put yourself in a very risky position that you have to have their mortgage to pay or their rent to pay the mortgage. That's really risky. So I have one client. We talk about this a lot. They're doing an Airbnb in their house and fixing the apartment. And I said, this is not an investment strategy. This is a break-even strategy. You have to have it rented just so that you can break even. That's not a build wealth strategy. That's a survival strategy. And you're one month away from disaster. We don't want to do that. So wait till baby step 7. And we're going to get a rental property in baby step 7. That's the building wealth side. The other fun side of that question, Theo, is the giving. Whew, that's going to be kind of fun. And what an amazing experience when you have the opportunity to give like nobody else. And this is up to you. We're going to talk about this tonight. It's a great segue, Theo, of looking at like, who do I want to be when I get to baby step 7? I want to be a great steward and a generous giver because, man, I've been so blessed. And now I get to turn around and help others. And I've had this experience where you hear somebody that's struggling and you figure out where do they live and you pay their light bill for a couple of months. Or you just have a ding dong ditch where you put a basket of food on their door and you run. and you just like, wow, watch their face when they walk like, what the heck? Somebody gave us Thanksgiving dinner. That's the living and giving like nobody else. Does that help? Theo, that was a long
Yes,
answer.
sir. That was very in depth. I really appreciate your time, and I would like to add, giving feels amazing. I'm a very generous giver myself. So I don't want to take up too much of your time. I see James has his hands up, so I'm going to give him a chance to ask this question.
Thank you, Theo. Okay, James, get your hand up. You come off
Yep.
mute.
Thank you. Let me go on ahead and take that off. So my question is, and Brian, you're very familiar with this. I'm basically going to be going from baby step two, just due to some life circumstances, to basically almost step four, step five.
Leapfrog.
And
Nice.
and my concern is because my debt was wrapped around a divorce. So when we get to save for college,
Mhm.
how do you work that with an ex-spouse that believes in credit cards and and debt? So like for me, I'm not going to sign off on anything. I decided I'm not going to sign off on anything to get my kids into student loan debt because I'm like, I don't think that's the way to go. And I think that would just be a hindrance on you. But what if my ex believes in that? Like, how do
Okay.
I navigate that discussion?
That's yes. One, thank you. Thank you for that authenticity, that vulnerability, and having gone through a divorce myself and having somebody that doesn't quite see things the way I see, or vice versa. I empathize with your situation that you're going through. So the answer, James, with that question, okay, congratulations on being able to leapfrog and getting from 2 to 4. That's awesome. Now, baby step 5, saving for kids' college. Okay, let me answer it this way, kind of a roundabout way. If we don't know where we're going, we won't know when we get there. So for you, we need to decide, what does it look like for you? You're half of the equation. I understand that. There's you and then your ex-wife. You share these children and you both want them to go to school and you both value education, which is awesome. And you have a boundary that says, I'm not willing to go into debt for this, and I don't want my children to go into debt for it either. But there's another half of the equation that may or may not agree with me. So boundaries is where it's going to come down to say, what is your limit, James? And if you say, and I have the same question with married families, and to say, what's the destination? How do I know that I'm done? And this is a hard question because there's not a yes or no answer. The question is how much do you want to save for your kids' college? And I literally, my clients say, well, I have one client that said, I'm going to save 5,000. I'm going to help them get their freshman year, and I'm just going to help ease the pain. The rest is on them because I ain't got the money. So I'm going to do 5 grand. I have another family that they said 20,000. And then every time we meet, they get to 25. I'm like, I thought you were done. What are you doing? It's like, I can't stop. I don't know how to stop. Like, you got to stop. There's baby step 5, move on, or 6, move on. And then the next month, like, I have 30 in there. Like, you were supposed to be done. You're supposed to stop. Sometimes we can habitualize a good thing and we don't know when to get off the freeway just because we're used to driving on long road trips. You have to know where you're going and then be done. Have a boundary. So this is the hard part. When other people don't share your boundaries, you have to you stand alone. Like all my friends that think that just going out to dinner on a credit card is okay. Like, I'm not doing that. I'm going with cash. And if I don't have it, the answer is no. And I'd love to go and I'll go for the social aspects, but I'm not going to buy any food because I already hit my budget. What's that? They'll ask you. So I have a boundary, and to thine own self be true. So in this case, James, to thine own self be true. What's your limit on your kids' college? And if you say, I'm going to go to X, is that going to pay the entire amount? I'm going to guess not. I'm going to guess based on what you said. I'm putting in some, and my ex-wife is putting in some. Now, I'm not going to do it on debt. What she does, I can't control, and she's going to do it her own dang way because she's an independent and she's doing it her own way. Now, if she wants to go into credit debt for it, I'd advise against that. Send her my website, and I'd love to give her a free consultation, and we'll help her to understand why that's a bad idea. And this is the hardest things for parents. And that, again, my background, I didn't tell you this part. So in addition to my 23 years in the financial industry, I have an MBA. I can do the math. I can do the strategy. I'm a nerd. I like math. I like Excel. But before that, this is the other side of my brain. I thought I wanted to be a therapist, and so I was studying psychology. So I have that background of the financial therapist kind of an approach. So I'm going to go therapy for a second, and I'm going to talk about relationships, right? And say, okay, you even in intact families, right, that are still married, the parental heart, the father heart or the mother heart in each one of us says, I want the best for my children. I want them to have a better life than me. And sometimes we compensate for the pain that they've gone through. My own children having gone through a divorce, how do I compensate? I'm going to buy you stuff. And I'm going to save you all this pain. So I'm going to take you to Disneyland, even though I can't afford it. I'm going to pay for your college because I got to make up for all the pain that you've gone through. And we put a lot of pressure on ourselves as parents. And so that's where you have to say, I love you, and don't judge my love based on my contribution to your educational savings account. I love you, and I have a limit because I got to pay for my retirement. This is the guarantee. You will retire. The guarantee, it's not a guarantee that they go to college. So you will retire. Who's going to pay for that? It ain't going to be your kids. And hopefully your retirement plan is not to move in with them. And if you tell them that, they'll be really excited for you to save for your retirement and not pay for their college. If that's what it keeps you out of my basement, I'll pay my own dang college. So it's having that conversation to say, my I've got two daughters going to college this year. I'm deep breath. That's a big bill. I'm like, hey, I love you girls. I'm rooting for you. This independence in school, this is gonna be awesome. I can help you to this amount. Well, how are you going to cover the rest? What? I thought you were going to pay me for everything because you're my dad, and it just comes out of that magical machine in the wall. The money just spits out, right? Welcome to adulthood. I have a limit, and I can get you this far, and it's not all the way. And me and my ex-wife, right? I have my plan. I have no idea what my ex-wife is doing. She won't talk to me about that stuff, right? Money is a triggering topic for us. It was in marriage. It is after marriage, right? It didn't solve anything. So now I have my plan. I don't know what they're doing over there, but I can't control over that. What's happening over there. And so I have my limit, I have my boundary, and I have my any strength overutilized can become a weakness. Like Theo says, I'm a generous giver. Good. But you still have a limit. Even millionaires have to put a limit on their generosity because I have clients that their generosity kills their financial plans because they're giving themselves into poverty. And remember that oxygen mask on yourself first in the airplane example? You got to put your own oxygen mask on first. So I have a limit and I say, love you girls, and I'm going to X, but you got to get yourself to Y. How are you going to do that? Let me help you. Let me teach you. I'm learning it too. Let me show you the baby steps. Let me teach you how to budget. We're going to have that summer job. We're going to pay our way to college. So I get you here. You get yourself to there. Does that help? Mom, I recommend, ex-wife, I recommend you don't do credit, but I can't control that. But I know as for me and my house, we ain't doing the debt. Does that help?
Yeah, yeah, that makes a lot of sense because because I know one of the things that the government tries to do is get co-parents to goes on the loan, and
Oh
I'm
yeah.
like, not doing that.
Yeah. Why do they want the parent to co-sign?
Well,
Because they
they
don't
want
trust the child to pay it themselves. They want
the.
you.
Yep.
Right. If anybody comes saying I need a cosigner, run because that tells you that person is not credit worthy. That's why they need a cosigner because they're not strong enough to do it themselves. They need you to bail them out, and you're the one on the hook. I can't. I love you. I love you too much to let debt ruin our relationship. That's a different way of looking at it. That's a hard stance to say, I love you too much to co-sign on a loan with you because I know it can put pressure on our relationship. Thanksgiving dinner tastes different when you owe me money. And I love you and I try not to think about that, but I think about that every time you go out to the dinner and go to the movies and I see how you waste your money and you're not paying me back. I don't want to go there. Lending money to family is a topic in and of itself. That could be another whole month's group session is don't lend money to family. It's hard. It really hurts the relationship. Gift, right? Build wealth and give. That can be part of your baby step 7. I'm going to give to my family. I'm not going to ever ask for it back. And then it can be a wonderful blessing and no strings attached. So you have your boundary, set your limit, know when you get there, know when you're done, because you have a whole puzzle. For them, that's like the only piece right now is I got to go to college. But you got to look at it and say, well, I got college, but I also got to pay my house off and I got to retire. And do I need to make up for lost time on my investing? Maybe 15% is not enough for me. That's a discussion in and of itself. Because for me and my time horizon, I don't have the next 20 years to work. So I might need to be doing more than 15%. We got to talk about that one. Lots to talk about. This has been the deepest conversation about the baby steps I've ever had in a group session. This is awesome. Thank you all for sharing these questions. Hoping this is helpful. And it's awesome to hear from each other too. So I'm hoping they're like, oh, I'm with that guy. Well, yeah, that makes sense to me. So hopefully we can see ourselves in each other because we're all on the same road. All right, I'm going to breeze through this one. I always do a review of the last month's topic. But just for sense case or in the because of time, let's zip through this. Last month's topic was income instability, how to have emergency preparedness strategies and irregular income funds. That was a new strategy that I launched last month. It's in my YouTube channel recordings. So again, go to the chat, open the chat, click on the link for my YouTube channel. Go to the YouTube channel, subscribe to that, and then find last month's group session all about income instability and watch that because hopefully you tried something out, you applied what you learned, or you had some successes and the wins over the last month. Because I always love celebrating with you to identify what's going well in your life. Nobody's perfect, but we're all making progress. And so it's not doesn't matter the pace; it matters the direction that you're facing and where you're moving towards. So if you missed last month's group session, you can catch up on that recording on the group call or the YouTube in the recordings. So we'll celebrate and talk about that next month when we talk about this one. But let's just dive into life after baby step 7. That's what we're going to talk about. It kind of goes along with what Theo was bringing up. Is what do you do in baby step 7 and in building wealth and giving? Because that sounds really broad. And I don't know exactly. I think Theo said, like, is there some more concrete recommendations? Like, pay off your debt. That makes sense to me. Live and give like nobody else. I struggle with that. And guess what? You are not alone. If you've had those wonders of what do you do after baby step 7, is there life after debt? Is another way of asking. Like, I have no idea what to do after debt is over. And for some people, they struggle with it
I
because
had a
they
baby step 7. Sorry, I had a baby
yeah,
step 7, I guess, dilemma come up today.
okay. It's recent. What happened, Corinne?
Well, building my home, I had to send all the applications in for the electric cooperative there. And the lady calls me. She says, can you re-give me your social? I'm having trouble pulling your credit. I said, okay. Gave it to her. She says, you don't have a credit score. I didn't realize it had already gone down
Oh,
since I sold my home a year ago. And I was like, oh, I don't have any debt.
right.
And so that's something I've never experienced. And I was like, she's like, well, I hate to say it, but we have to have you pay a 250 deposit because you don't have a credit score or credit history to show us. I said,
Yeah.
oh, okay. I
Price of
said,
freedom, huh?
yeah. I said, well, tell me about this deposit. She says, well, you get it back in 3 years as long as you pay your bill on time every month. I'm like, okay.
Right. It's credit insurance for them. You're an unknown entity because you're free, and we don't know how to deal with people that are free. Yeah, the credit bureau, like, I don't know how to deal with you people. All you debt free people, I don't know what to do with you people. That is a challenge for the rest of the world because there's not many people like you. So good job. We're living that. We're like, is there a life after baby step 7? Yeah. And some of the questions that you might face are these. So what do you think it will be like? What do you want it to be like? It's going to be amazing though, right? I don't know what it's going to be like and I don't know what to do in it, but it's going to be awesome. In the email that I send out inviting you to the session, it talked about some of the questions or the comments that I've heard lately. And people say, oh, I can't wait to baby step 7. I know I don't have to budget anymore. Yeah, and I left that then as well. It's like actually even millionaires have to budget because you can always outspend your income. It's not about your income. I have clients that literally make over $400,000 a year and they don't know where it's going. And it's disappearing and they got money leaks just like people my other clients that are making $50,000 a year. If you don't watch it, it will disappear. So baby step 7 does not give you license to stop budgeting. So we got to always manage our money. So let's talk about this. So it's very applicable of with Theo what you were asking. I couldn't have set that one up better. So thank you for asking that question because that's our topic. And it's not just baby step 7. It's what do you do after baby step 4? Yes, there's some to-dos in there of invest and pay and kids college and pay off your house early. But then it gets really wide and really broad. The way I explain it is For some people, if you were to give them a blank canvas and say, paint me a picture, or give them a blank piece of paper and say, write me an essay, it's the worst assignment ever. And they just stall and they're paralyzed because they don't know what to do because you haven't told me what to do. If you give me a dot to dot, I can do this. If you give me a paint by numbers, I can do this. But a blank canvas is too wide open. And nothing has ever prepared me for creativity and paint whatever you want. So that's what I want to talk about tonight. You might not be on baby step 7, but what we talk about tonight will help prepare you for that. And it'll help you in baby step 1. So this is very interesting because you're not the only ones asking about this. I literally just got back from Dave Ramsey put on a cruise, the debt-free cruise. So that was 2 weeks ago. So it's hot on my mind. There's me, Dave, and all of the personalities were there on the cruise. I didn't know I was taller than everybody. And that was our opportunity. We got to meet them and do lots of events and keynotes and breakouts, and it was a busy week when we weren't enjoying some of the amazing beaches that we were visiting. I took an entree leadership class. For me, it was all work. As a Ramsey coach, I was there to work and learn and sharpen the saw. So there, I got a selfie with Dave. And we had the largest debt-free screen up on the top of the ship. You can see how many people are there, and we all scream, "We're debt-free!" And then everybody, before I say this somebody I found this on the beach as I was walking along. This was us in the Bahamas. There's the cruise ship out in the distance. I'm like, I couldn't have planned this better picture. This is my new website. And then somebody had written in the sand, "I'm debt-free." And then, well, now what? Do you remember the scene in Nemo? The entire movie, they're like, we gotta escape, and this is our plan. We're gonna get in the bags, and we're gonna go down the drain, and and then they get in the ocean, and then like, okay, now what? Oh, we didn't think this far down the road. So that's what I want to talk with you all tonight, is to prepare you for that. And whether you're on baby step 1 or in baby step 7, the goal is all of us to get there. But it was amazing for me to see how many people in this debt-free cruise didn't know what to do now. So that's concerning to me that people are so gazelle intense and then they lose momentum. Like, ooh, that's a gap. We need to address this and help the people so that we can help them to learn that there is life after debt. There is lots to do in baby step 7. So what do we do? Okay, so I'm going to go a little bit of psychology with you for a minute. There's 2 types of goals. There's an identity goal and there's an achievement goal. So achievement goals are the more common types of goals. These are kind of, think of your New Year's resolutions. I want to save $1,000. I want to lose 20 pounds. I want to pay off my credit card. I want to buy a house or buy a car. I want to go on a debt-free cruise. Hey, let's do that with cash. I want to save 5 months of expenses in my emergency fund. I want to teach my son or my daughter how to ride a bike. I want to invest 15% of my income into retirement. These are the I will do goals. They're a checklist. I did or didn't save the 15%. I did or did not teach my son how to ride a bike. I did or did not buy that car. So they're yes, no answers. Okay, they're the easy ones. What then are the identity goals? Those ones are harder. They're less common. Maybe one of those goals might be, I want to be a good steward of my money. That's harder to measure than just say yes or no, I got $1,000. So if it's an easy or a hard goal, I'll go with the easy. I'll just say $15 and check it off. But am I really becoming a good steward of my money? That's a bigger answer. I want to be more patient with my family members. Ooh, that's a hard one. I want to learn to manage my money well. I want to make wise financial decisions. I want to become a healthy person. That might be physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, financially. I want to be healthy. That's different than just lose 20 pounds. I can lose 20 pounds without being healthy. I can do it very unhealthily. These are the I will be goals. I will be healthy. I will be a good steward. I will be financially wise. I will be money strong. That's an identity, not just a to-do. So which are harder for you? Come off of mute or put it in the chat. Which ones are harder for you? The achievement goals or the identity goals?
The identity goals are definitely harder for me. Um, because like you said, I love little dopamine hit, little check, and I'm
Yep.
done. But it's like when I have an identity, it's like it never really stops. It's like I
Yep.
am a good steward of money, but now I have more money. How can I be a
Yep.
good steward with more money and more
More.
cash flow?
That's a great comment. Thank you, Gabrielle. Is those goals never end. With baby steps 1 through 6, there's a destination. Once I pay off my house, I'm kind of done. I don't need to do it anymore. But being a good steward, that never ends.
And those are I try to do more of a vision board, but I've also been more into what are those called? Affirmations. So
Mhm.
I actually have both in my vision board. So I will be healthy and then the achievement goals underneath that. And I think that also helps me to be more accountable. So like
Yep.
once I do reach all those checks, it's like, okay, great, we're at this point. Now I am this person, but how can I be more of this person?
Awesome. Very good. Vanessa adds that identity goals are harder because they're long term, right? It's not just check I got 1,000. Like I have to be a steward. That's my entire life. And I love what you said, Gabrielle, the mantras, the affirmations. And one small tweak, not saying I will be a good steward, is I am a good steward. It's seeing things with the eye of faith, saying I am it now, even though you're not. And your brain will reject that unless you repeat it and say, I am a good steward with money. No, you're not. You're going to so deep in debt, man. You see the bank account you did last week. Don't listen to that negative voice. I am a good steward. I make good, healthy financial decisions. I am so happy and grateful that money comes to me in multiple ways and effortless, and I get to keep it. And so, tweaking your mantras, there was a whole. We talked about that in one of the previous group sessions. So go back and watch some of the previous videos, and you'll see that. Corinne says, "I like the concrete checklist and seeing it." Yeah, if you're a checklist person, you'll love achievement goals. You'll hate identity goals because there's always more. As Gabrielle says, there's always be a better, keep being tomorrow. Am I a good steward tomorrow? Man, this is an everyday kind of a thing. Oh, okay. We talked a little bit about this. Why is it? Which are more important? Identity goals or achievement goals? If you had to pick between the two, which would be more important?
I would say identity, specifically because, like I said previously, you can always be more of something. And once that achievement checklist runs out, you have to add more to it. But it's easier to look at. It's like looking at those 7 baby steps. Great. I did all of this, but at the end of the day, what am I? I'm a I I am an earner. I am a saver. It's like, okay, now how are we gonna earn more? How are we gonna save more? And then adding more to the checklist.
Any comments? Thank you. Any other thoughts? Which is more important, the identity or the achievement goals? It's kind of like picking a favorite child. Like, well, they're both important. I love them both. You need them both.
No.
But if all you ever do is just the achievement, then like many of those people on that boat, they
I think
flounder because I don't know what else to do. Go ahead, Theo.
identity goals are more important
You said the
because
achievement goals? Okay.
I said identity. I said
Oh, the
identity.
identity. Oh, okay.
I said
Sorry. Yeah,
I
good
said
to hear.
identity for me because once
Mhm.
I am able to envision and have a concrete idea of who I am, once I crystallize it in my mind, then the achievement becomes significantly easier.
Awesome. I love that. When you know who you are, the achievement is easier.
100%.
That's deep. Right? Sit on that one for a little while because of who I am. It doesn't really matter what's going to happen to me. It's who I am. And if I
Right.
know who I am, then I know how to navigate this path.
And also, sometimes I want to add this, and also, Brian, is who I have to
Yeah.
become.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. So one of my favorite philosophers, kind of motivational speakers, like Dave Ramsey. Not Dave Ramsey,
Yeah.
excuse me, I messed that up. Uh, Jim Rohn,
Yeah.
and he
Love
said
him.
the only thing better than knowledge is applied knowledge. So you could have all the information you want. You could know how to
Yeah.
invest. You could know how to do the 7 baby steps. You could read about it till you're like blue in the face. But if you're not applying it, it doesn't matter. But it first starts with the identity and that mindset of like, I believe I can do this. So it sounds a little cliche, but you have to believe it before you achieve it. So I think identity is the nucleus, and then everything else is achievement.
So thank you. That's deep. Absolutely. I love Jim Rohn. His teaching talks about work harder on yourself than you do on your job.
Yes, sir.
So I got to become something so that then I can do something. It's
Mhm.
the knowledge. I got to apply it first. It's information in action. That's what creates wisdom. So the identity goals, these are hard. That's why we don't do them because they're a hard workout. Is who do I want
Yeah.
to be when I grow up? Will mom or dad please just tell me what I should be? Give me a dot to dot. Give me the paint by the numbers because then I just follow it. And then we blame God like, God, I'm just going to sit here until you tell me who to be when I grow up. And God's like, who do you want to be? I love you. Who do you want to be? Like, don't ask me. Just tell me. And then we can blame him later because I didn't like what he told me to go do. So he gives us the free agency to say, what do you want to create? Who do you want to be when you grow up? What kind of a life do you want in retirement? That question scares every client I ask because it's so hard to know. But what am I supposed to do? What should I do? There's a lot of shoulds and supposed tos in those questions. Well, think of this. No matter what baby step you're on, who are you becoming from working through these baby steps? That's the point. It's not just to check off the list. Yes, you're going to check off the list, but don't forget to become something along the way. Because if you don't, when you get to baby step 7, you'll flounder because somebody just tell me what to do. I need a baby step 8. Will somebody just tell me you're supposed to get 3 Airbnbs? No, it's like it's your choice. What do you want to do? What does building wealth and giving look like for you? Maybe it's this is fun when you really let yourself dream and get to this stage. When I get to coach somebody in baby step 8, baby step 7 and 8, which doesn't technically exist. I'm making this up, right? If you look at it is like, what do you want to do? Do you want to go build wells in Africa? Do you want to build a school in Mexico? Do you want to go serve like Dentists Without Borders? Like, what do you want to do? Like, am I allowed to do that? Yeah, you're a millionaire. You have nothing holding you back. It's time to dream. But nobody said I could do that. Well, now it's time to learn how to operate in the freedom. So what are my baby step identities? Like what kind of a person can the baby steps turn you into? Do not just focus on checklist of the baby steps, but I'm becoming resilient. What baby step is that? All of them. I'm decisive. What baby step is that? All of them. I am driven. Here's those mantras Gabriel said. I am. Say not I will be. I am. I am driven. I'm not. You see how much you watch YouTube you watched yesterday? Ignore those voices. I am driven. I am patient. I am structured flexibility. That came from one of my clients that coined that phrase. I'm structured, but I'm flexible. I am organized. I am calculating. I am discerning. I am disciplined. Hopefully, that's who we are becoming along the way of the doing. Another philosopher, Epictetus, says, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Because once you become something with the baby steps, you can face whatever happens to you in the future. So who are you becoming on this journey? Some deep thoughts. Who you be is more important than what you do. But so often what we do becomes our identity. I'm a teacher, I'm a plumber, I'm an electrician, I'm a dad, I'm a father, I'm a husband. Well, you go through a divorce. This was my story. That identity was taken away from me. So am I identityless just because I'm no longer a husband? Or am I still Brian? Am I still a son of God? Am I still a father? You betcha. You can't take that away from me. You can take away my time with my children, but I will always be a father. So who you be is more important than what you do. You don't you don't know what will happen to you in your future. What is more important is what you will do about it. And if you become someone in this process, then you can more effectively process what happens to you instead of floundering, not knowing what to do next. Will somebody please give me a baby step 8? It is becoming. It's every baby step. Become something along the way. And then no matter what happens and what you're faced with, you'll be ready for it. So here is a list of questions for you to ponder. And some might be a little closer to home, a little more triggering than others. a little, you might see a little hey, a little prick on some of these questions. These are literal questions from clients or statements from clients. These are it's interesting for me that I get to see a snapshot of humanity in such a wide spectrum of the people that I get to work with and the life that they have to go through, the heavy burdens that they are called to bear. It's interesting to see what people have to go through. So some of these might sound too familiar for you. So what would you do if, and look through these, what would you do if you discovered mold in your house and it would take $45,000 to remediate? What would you do? If if you haven't become something along the way, you won't know what to do because that's not one of the baby steps. What if you got a bonus at work? That's a positive thing, but what do I do? What baby step? What do I do? What if your car's engine, water pump, and transmission all go out at the same time and it's going to cost you $5,000 to fix? Yuck. What if you get a new job and it pays you 50% more income per month? It's a great problem to have. Some of these, like, yeah, curse me with that, God. I'll take that one, not the car transmission one. I'll take the 50% more. What if you get an IRS bill for 15 grand? What if your mother passes away and leaves you her monthly pension and IRA balance? What if you have a family member that is diagnosed with cancer? What if your spouse dies unexpectedly? I literally have had every single one of these. These came from my clients. We heard one earlier, right? What if you have a boundary on your child's college tuition and your ex-wife doesn't? What do you do? So hopefully we are becoming something along the way in our journey of doing. Hopefully we are becoming. So does anybody want to pick one of these things and give us what would you do if you were faced with one of these? And if you have faced it before, how'd you handle it? And share with the group.
I actually had something happen to my car recently, and
That one
it
hurts.
was something else happened to it like 2 months ahead of time. But thank goodness I started to build up my savings again because I was at what is that? I had a nice emergency fund, and I was like, "Ugh, I have to take my money out of it." But at the end of the day, it was like such a relief that I had it in my bank account. So yes, I saw the number. It was not pretty, and I wasn't. It was literally just what was it, the annual inspections. I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna pay. How much is that? Like $35, and then now it's coming out of pocket like $1,800. Like where did that come from? But it was like such a relief that I had it in my bank account. It just felt good.
There's not a person that I've met that doesn't hate using their emergency fund because you know how much it took to build it. But that's what
Mhm.
it's there for. And I literally have to talk clients out of like, well, I had this emergency and I don't want to use the emergency fund, so I'm going to go use my credit card. Like, what are you doing? That's what the emergency fund is there for. But I don't want to use it. I can't use it. Like, it's an emergency. It's time to use it. So what do you do? Well, if you've become wise and a good steward, even if you fall backwards on the baby step plan, you know how to move forward. I ask the question a lot of times to my clients to say, what do you think is going to happen if you took a self-made millionaire and you took all of their assets away from them where do you think they would be in 5 years?
I have it right back.
They'll be a millionaire again. Why? Because of who they are, not what they've done. They can do it again. Think of Job, right? He had a huge empire and he lost it all. And where was he? Better than before. So a millionaire that loses everything, they can make it back because of who they are. So I want you to become something along this journey so that if you have to use your emergency fund, okay, you can get back. Good. Thank you for the sharing that, Gabrielle. Any other ones that stick out to you more than another? On what would you do? Vanessa, you got your hand up? Or no, that's the clapping. Sorry. Got to get my emojis right.
That first one, it's a tough one. I never had to experience that, but I guess if I were in that situation, hypothetically, and I had followed the 7 baby steps, it would put me in a stronger position to be able to solve it. But I tend to be very resourceful and I keep a powerful contact of people. So sometimes allocating said problems or just being pointed in the right directions. I have some friends who are in the housing business and the construction business. So whatever quote I was going to get, I would be able to compare and get like the best rate and utilize my contact to solve that. It would have to come out of pocket eventually. Something as heavy as that is going to cost, but it wouldn't cost me $45,000.
Okay, so you're going to get a sweet deal on it because you're a savvy shopper and you're gonna use your network. That's excellent, right? What would I do if I'm called to bear this heavy cross along the way? I'm gonna can I get it for 42?
Right.
But like you said, eventually it's going to come out of it's going to hit my bank account. And what if my emergency fund was only 30,000?
We have to get really creative, but it would have to be used. That 30 would hurt, but that's what it's for, like you said.
Okay, so I use my emergency fund and I'm still 15 short or 10 short because I got a sweet deal from Theo's network. So what do I do?
You asking me or you asking the group?
Say that again.
You asking me or you asking the group?
Either. Yeah. Anybody have an idea? I'm still 15,000 short on my fixing my mold disaster house. I just evaporated my emergency fund. What do I do?
Ask if there's a payment plan or if there's a discount for cash.
Okay. So I'm still in the savvy shopper. I'm going to try to get a deal. Can you do it for 38? Yes, there's a cash deal. It's 38 if you pay me. I still only have 30. Can you go that low? No.
Is a HELOC
Payment plan.
crazy?
Go ahead, Theo.
Brian, is a HELOC, would a HELOC be practical in this case?
That's like, whoa, wait a minute. You just said the debt word.
You don't like that.
Is
do you?
that okay? And I walked the client through this and we're like, okay, what's the alternative? You used your emergency fund. You still are short. Your house is toxic and you can't live there. So in this case, is debt okay? That's Gabriel, you coming off of mute. What do you want to say? How do you want to
I
answer
would
that?
say yes, because it's either I'm going to be in debt with the house or not be in debt without a house.
Yeah,
So
like,
I,
do I sell it? How do I sell it? Yeah,
I thought it was a general question, is that okay? But you was in the context of the situation with the
this
mold.
situation.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you would have to.
yeah, yeah. It's like, what else do I do? And I walked my client through that to say, okay, yes, we want to avoid debt at all costs. But what if you had a medical emergency and it was that or die?
Ooh.
Like, sorry, Dave Ramsey says don't get into debt, so I can't pay for the cardiologist. So I guess this is it for me, and let's pay for the funeral home.
Yeah.
Like, this is a tough decision. And in this case, I advise them, yeah, go get the loan and pay for the mold, and then you just put it on your debt snowball again, and we'll get back to it. You're the millionaire that lost everything, and you'll get back to it.
Right.
And so, whatever baby step you're on, if you slip back down, you know how to get back up. And this time, the debt was not frivolous. It wasn't mindless debt that I just bought a boat or I just used my credit card too much. No. Why are you in $10,000 worth of debt? Because I had a stinking mold disaster. Okay. How fast can we get out of it? Oh, I'm going to gazelle intense on this baby. I did it once before. I can do it again. I'm going to break my old record. And you know how to do it because of who you are, not because of what has happened to you or what you've done, but because of who you are. Who you be is more important than what happens to you or what you do. So because of who you are, you'll get out of debt again. It's okay. You'll get through baby step 2 twice, and then baby step 3 twice, and we'll just move. We'll just get there. All right. So this is how to create the more than just a baby step achiever identity. Okay. So what do you want your financial identity to be? What are those mantras that Gabrielle talks to us about? I am a good steward of my money. I am wealthy. I am a generous giver. Money comes to me in multiple sources and effortless ways. And I hold it and I retain it and I give it back out. And we can spend a whole class on how to craft a mantra. What would that kind of a person do in the situation I'm facing right now? If you can identify an identity goal, it's actually, I think it's in Atomic Habits, it's in the book, talks about if you set a goal of an identity, like I want to be an author. Well, what does an author do? An author writes. Okay, well, then I guess I should write every day. So what would that kind of a person do in the situation I'm facing? What would Dave Ramsey do if he was faced with a $45,000 mold disaster? What would a financially wise person do? What would a good steward do? That's who I want to be. So what would that kind of person do? And then you do it and act as if, right? As seen with the eye of faith, acting as if you are that person already. Live it until you become it. I don't like the phrase fake it till you make it. The phrase is live it until you become it. There's a great TED talk by Amy Cuddy, is a Harvard professor. And she talks about this and talks about body language will change the physiology of your brain. I put the TED Talk link in the chat. So you can, instead of trying to write that one down, but go to the chat and there is the link to the TED Talk, about 21 minutes. It's worth your time and learn about how your body language will change your brain. So use it and become something. Fake it until you become it was her phrase. So live it until you become it. So here's your homework. Every session I have with the client, I always have homework and action items because, as I think it was Theo who mentioned this, right? It's not about knowledge, it's about application. So we got to do something from our time here together tonight. So think about, it's not right or wrong, right? Achievement goals are not wrong. So think about what you want to achieve this month. Make it small, break it down. 30 days between now and our next group session on the second Wednesday of next month. What do you want to achieve this month? And then take it to the other side of the coin. Who will that help you to become? That's the identity part. And then please be flexible with your achievement goals, but be firm with your identity goals. Because things can happen out of your control and you're going to miss the goal because of some monkey wrench in your life. But that just messes with the doing, not the becoming. You want to throw a monkey wrench? I'm still me and I'm still headed in the right direction. And my time horizon might have changed because of some reality that hit me. But who I'm becoming, that's a daily activity. Every day I wake up, I'm becoming. So be flexible with your achievement goals. I'm going to save $1,000 this month. Well, if something throws you off and you only get to 800, who are you becoming this month by saving this month? I am becoming a financial steward. I am becoming money strong. Right? Then it doesn't really matter the outcome. It's who I am becoming in the process. All right. Any final thoughts, questions, comments? Anything else I can help with? This has been a good discussion. I really appreciate everybody's engagement and comments.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you for your time. Thank you for your information, Brian. We appreciate your time. Thank you.
My pleasure. Thank you for your gratitude, Theo. Thank you for being here. Thank you all for being here. And you can use the same link that you enrolled for this one. You can click on that link. You can forward it to the next month, and it will show you I'm going to grab the link and I'll put it in our coaching. So let me grab this and I'll put it in our chat. So you can use that same one. It'll go advance to the May session, and you can sign up for the next one. Invite a friend, bring somebody that needs help with this as well. I'd love to serve them as well. If I can help anybody in your life, friends, family, coworkers, neighbors, anybody that needs a boost in their financial journey, then we would love me or my coaches love to do free financial consultations in gift in your honor to help them along their path as well. Any other final thoughts, comments, needs that I can help with before I
And
let
this
you
was
go?
helpful. It's like seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. It's like, okay, this is what the end of the goal is, but now I'm in this place right now.
Right.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I love that perspective. I am in this baby step, but it's good to know that there is light at the end of the tunnel. I know what to expect. Now let's get back to this one. And I always hope to motivate and inspire you to keep working at it. Life's tough sometimes. It's hard. We get trials, we have heavy loads we have to face, but don't forget who you are becoming. Dust yourself off, keep moving forward. You know where you're heading. Don't stop till you get there. Thank you
Thank
all
you,
for being
man.
here. It's been a
Good
pleasure.
luck,
Thank you.
everyone.
Thank
Take
you.
care.
Have a
Appreciate
great
it.
night. Thank
Evening.
you.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.